Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into a topic that, well, lots of folks think they know pretty well, but there's actually quite a bit more to it. We're talking real estate appraisals, but not just the kind you might run into when you're, buying a home.
Right. There's a whole other side to it.
Exactly. And this deep dive, it's based on some really interesting stuff from a specific appraisal company, Advanced Appraisal Associates, Inc. We've got their service info, guides on picking an appraiser, the works.
Okay.
So our mission today, we want to unpack the world of appraisals, especially for those situations outside the usual home buying process. We'll look at why getting an unbiased expert view is just so critical and what makes some appraisers really stand out.
Yeah, and I think the key thing we'll find here is that, look, not all appraisals are the same. And maybe more importantly, not all appraisers are the same.
Right.
Getting a handle on those differences, the nuances, it's not just academic. It can genuinely protect your money, your investment, and honestly, give you peace of mind in what can be, well, pretty stressful times.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. Broadly speaking, what is a real estate appraisal? The sources say it's an unbiased opinion of a property's fair market value.
Unbiased being the key word.
Totally. It's grounded in facts, market reactions. It's not about feelings, yours or anyone else's.
And what's really interesting is just how many different reasons someone might need one. I mean, yeah, mortgages are common, lending appraisals. But this company, Advanced Appraisal Associates, Inc., they really seem to focus on trickier situations.
Like
Like estate settlements and divorce proceedings. They actually mention handling these with, and I quote, utmost care, respect, and confidentiality.
That's huge in those contexts.
Absolutely. Think about a divorce where the house is the main asset. Getting that value right and having both sides trust the number because it's unbiased, that can save so much grief and, frankly, money on lawyers.
Yeah, you avoid those huge battles. And the sources list a ton of other uses, too, things maybe people don't think about. Financially related transactions, sure, but also personal or investment reasons, litigation support that covers private pre-listing appraisals.
So getting a value before you list it on the market, smart.
Yeah, as assessment appeals, fighting your property tax bill, bankruptcy, setting up trusts, figuring out a possible sale or purchase price, even PMI removal.
Let me jump in on that PMI removal one. That's private mortgage insurance. A lot of homeowners might be paying that when they don't need to anymore, once their equity hits a certain point. An appraisal can prove that.
Good point. And there's more. Partnership splits, probate cases, indemnity cases, and even acting as an expert witness in court. It's way broader than just mortgages.
Definitely.
So, okay, if they're so important, can I just, call up an appraiser and order one for my mortgage?
That's a really crucial distinction. No, not for lending or bank finance, especially with federally backed loans. The borrower cannot legally order their own appraisal for that.
So who does?
The lender does. They have to manage that process to ensure independence. But the sources do point out if you're a cash buyer or maybe the bank waives the appraisal.
Which happens sometimes.
Right. In those cases, they strongly suggest getting your own professional, unbiased appraisal anyway. Think of it as like due diligence to protect your investment. It's still the gold standard for valuation.
That makes a lot of sense. Good clarification.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's zoom in on this company, Advanced Appraisal Associates, Inc. They seem to lean into this broader expertise.
They do. The sources call them the most reviewed and trusted appraisal company in the south suburbs, and pretty boldly claim they're the only unbiased party in any real estate situation.
Okay, strong words.
Yeah, and their service area seems pretty extensive, too. We're talking the southwest Chicago suburbs, Mokina, Tinley Park, Frankfurt, Orland Park, places like that, plus parts of central and southern Cook County, northern Will County. They mentioned being active there for over 30 years, so deep local knowledge. And interestingly, they also handle equestrian properties, big acreage stuff in southern Will County, and even markets in DuPage County.
Wow, that's quite a range. And it's not just the geography, it's the types of properties they handle.
Exactly. Not just single-family homes. They list 2-4 units, condos, and they specifically highlight multifamily buildings, 5+ units, calling it our passion.
Interesting niche.
Yeah, and then you've got mixed-use buildings, commercial properties, light industrial, even vacant land. It's a pretty diverse portfolio.
So who's behind this level of expertise?
Well, the president and owner is Ernie J. Ramos. He holds the Certified General Real Estate Appraiser license in Illinois. The sources describe that as the highest license available.
Okay, so top tier.
Seems like it. over 20 years in both commercial and residential. Plus, he's got designations like EFA and ASA from professional groups ASINIFA and affiliations like ICP.
What do those letters actually mean for someone needing an appraisal?
Well, those designations usually mean extra coursework, rigorous exams, peer review, ongoing education, often way beyond just the basic state license. It signals a commitment to a higher standard of practice and ethics, basically more expertise.
Got it. So you've got this expert, you engage them. How does the actual appraisal happen? What's the process like, according to these sources?
Okay, so it starts with the client engagement, obviously. Then the appraiser does a deep dive into research property records, market data, using public and private online sources.
And they visit the property.
Yep, the on-site visit, crucial step. They look at everything, inside and out, and they physically measure the building areas the sources mentioned using advanced laser measuring devices.
Okay, high tech.
Yeah, and they contrast that with maybe just using a tape or wheel, a hanging camera, and a clipboard and pen suggests a more thorough, accurate approach. They photograph key areas too.
Sounds pretty detailed, not just a quick walkthrough.
It seems that way. After the visit, it's back to analysis. More market beta research, finding comparable sales in the area, maybe land sales if it's relevant, analyzing trends.
And that leads to the final number.
Pretty much. An opinion of market value is formed based on all that data, recent sales, market movement, statistics.
How long does all this take? Are we talking weeks?
Actually, they seem pretty efficient. For
Yeah.
single-family homes, they say typically 48 to 72 hours after the viewing, sometimes faster.
That's quick.
Yeah. Complex stuff, commercial assignments might take longer, maybe 3 to 7 business days. They really emphasize their use of technology and systems to be timely, but also, importantly, credible.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, because they make a point, almost a warning. Please understand that all appraisers are not equal.
That comes across loud and clear.
They're saying, look, we're not your average home appraiser company. They position themselves as experts in, well, more complex stuff.
Right. Which leads to a practical question for you, the listener. If you need an appraisal, especially for one of these non-lending situations, how do you check if a company has that right kind of expertise?
Good question. What do the sources suggest?
They give some tips. Check online reviews,
Yep.
sure, Google business page, testimonials. Look at their certification level, like that certified general license we mentioned.
Oh.
Check for those professional designations, affiliations. But crucially, they say, ask them directly. Are you familiar with appraisals outside of the bank and lending world? Have you done divorce work, estate work, tax appeals?
So vet their specific experience for your specific need.
Exactly. They also make a point to distinguish themselves from AMC's appraisal management companies.
Right. What's the deal there?
The sources argue that AMCs often just pick the cheapest and fastest appraisal, not necessarily the most qualified appraiser for the job. Their message is pretty blunt. Cheapest isn't best when hiring an appraiser. They frame their own service as a high-end product at a fair price, quality over just speed and low cost.
So you get what you pay for.
Essentially.
That seems to be the argument. They also mention offering different types of reports. You can get a full appraisal, or if you just need it for, say, internal decision-making, they offer very cost-effective options called restricted use appraisals.
Restricted use.
Yeah, it means it's really just for one specific user, maybe the property owner themselves, for a specific purpose. It's less comprehensive, so it costs less, but it's not suitable for, like, a court case or getting a loan. Gives you options, though.
Interesting. Now, the sources also mention some other resources this company puts out there, videos, interviews.
Yeah, it seems they do quite a bit of educational content. They mention a discussion on divorce and estate appraisals with a family law firm, Stirk Family Law,
Okay.
a tutorial on price per square foot debunking myths around that metric, and even interviews with someone called Dustin, the appraiser coach. So they're trying to share knowledge.
Seems like it. What else? They also point to a video from the Appraisal Foundation, that's a major authority in the field, about different home valuation options for financing. And the interesting takeaway they highlight is that a borrower, a consumer, actually does have a choice if the lender doesn't initially go for the gold standard appraisal. They even suggest real estate agents should share this info with buyers.
So empowering the consumer a bit more.
Yeah, it raises that question. How much do people really know about their options here? It seems advocating for informed consumers is part of their message.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, What's the big takeaway here?
Well, I think it's understanding that appraisals aren't just one thing. There are different types, different reasons you need them, especially outside of just buying a house with a mortgage.
Right, and that the quality, the expertise, the unbiased nature of that appraisal is just incredibly important.
Absolutely. Especially when the stakes are high. Experience, technology, proper credentials, they all matter.
So it really boils down to finding the right expert for your specific situation.
Exactly. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Think about those really significant life moments, maybe difficult ones like divorce or settling a loved one's estate. You've got major financial assets on the line, lots of emotion involved.
Yeah.
Consider just how critical having a truly unbiased expert valuation is in those moments. It's not just about getting a number. It's about fairness. It's about protecting your interests. It's about having a solid, credible foundation to move forward. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many big decisions rely on valuation, and are people always getting the best possible information? Something to think about.